much dancing. I love that theme song. It gets me wound up. Ask Taylor. Am I dancing, Taylor?
Yep, definitely.
Lily says it all the time.
Nice moves.
Yeah, right. I bumped my beard. It was like, oh no, I spent an hour getting to sleep just right. How you doing, everybody? Glad to see you here. It is Taylor and John Zidar spending time with our viewers, talking about stocks you're interested in. All week I share stocks with you, which is great. We've had a lot of good runners this week, actually, from the stocks I've been presenting to you. And it's not that I have any special talent. It's just that the charts are set up. We're loving these charts recently. So I have got lots of tickers already set up for us here, folks. Now, remember, we are going through a lot of tickers, and I'm not doing a thorough deep dive on any of these. We are kind of just blurring through them. I'm going over to the OTC markets for most of what we do. Occasionally, we'll have to leave. If you don't find anything and you see a big gain on the board, something's happening somewhere. You got to go further. So maybe Google, maybe Twitter, whatever pages you've accumulated, but you got to look somewhere else. So occasionally we'll go somewhere else. My point, I don't cover everything. So don't rely on everything or what I show you. Always do your due diligence behind me. It's amazing how much I find after we're done with this show. And it's like, oh, I didn't see that, or I forgot to tell them about that. All right. With that forewarning in the front door, let's jump on into this. First stock, I have got 6 of them here. We got a couple that got here early. I saw, who was that? I do want to make mention of that, bring up my comments here. I see lots of you are here early. Daniel Wentworth, Knits, Human Bicycles. Thanks, guys. And yes, I did notice, Underdog, that you were here earlier. What happened to that comment? I saw it up at the top, and then I seen it down here. Well, ZMRK is in the queue up at the front of the line. But I've got all of you guys here. Yes, we are all set up. So let's jump on into this. First one we are going to take a look at, let me get me up, is Zedge. I've never heard of Zedge. And I'm glad I actually got to see this one early, because when I jumped around, let me open up a secondary page here. When I jumped around, there was no information to be seen. You come over to the news, there's just scraps of news here, nothing to tell you anything. Disclosures, there's really not anything going here. What I found was this. It's a strange company. They tell us down here that Zedge builds marketplaces and games around digital content that people use to express themselves. We monetize user base through advertising, subscriptions, and virtual token-based economy. Now, what they're known for is their Emojipedia. They have every single emoji supposedly ever created in the world, everywhere. They've got over 500 million of them. And they have just redesigned their website so that you can actually tap into that. Today, they are offering mobile phone wallpapers, video wallpapers, ringtones, notification sounds. The synergy between game and the marketplace unlocks additional engagement and enables our community to earn money from their own artwork. We also own Emojipedia, a website that is a leading source of information. That is really what I was able to find on this company. Let me see if I had something else here. Revenues. Did I actually hit that? Beats. Revenues were strong. Let's take a look at those revenues. Over the last 4 years, they have been growing quick. 8 million to 9 to 19 to 26 million. We know it's millions because there's 3 zeros up there. We got to add to any of the numbers on these charts. Quarterly, they're hanging strong, near 7 million every quarter. Taking a look at that balance sheet, see what that looks like. Whoa, they got a lot of money in the bank. $17 million in the bank. 3 zeros here too. Total assets, just looking at the bottom line, they got 54 million ahead of the game and only 10 million in liabilities. So financially, they are sitting strong. They got revenues coming in, they got strong assets, and they got a lot of money. Anything else we can learn here? Well, let's check out the relative volume. Was anybody paying attention to it today? About half as many. Dropping from about 30,000 down to 16,000. Definitely under the radar. Share structure on the company is going to be decent. Outstanding share count is only 14 million. You can't have a float more than the outstanding share count. So it's not going to be any higher than 14 million. Disclosures. Did we have anything over there? You got a most recent financial. If you really want some information about the company, forget about Google or running around the internet. Dive into a 10K or 10Q. You'll get most everything you want there. It's not as juicy with all the adjectives. It's more facts. 8K, we'll just take a peek at that, see what that said. Earnings release, which was better than expected. So everything looks good here. I don't see a catalyst. They're doing business. They've redesigned their website. I don't know what sort of market there is for emojis and video wallpapers, but they are making money and it is growing. So, and what did they do today? Well, they're on the New York Stock Exchange. That's surprising to me. They finished just under $2, $1.98.5, and they dropped just a little bit today, $2.20. Let's take a look at this chart, Taylor, and see what she looks like. I have no clue. I've not even glanced at this one. Right. This is my job.
Okay. Yep, I got it. You got to click on. Yep, there we go. So this is the 4 hour. Since around middle of July, obviously complete downtrend, totally under this 9 EMA, not looking too good. Now, the reason I highlighted this portion is because back, now this is from a long time ago, but this is back in, the summer of 2020, we had a big high accumulation area. Sorry, I was looking at something. Consolidation. I was looking at something else and my tongue got twisted. Okay, so this high consolidation area back from 2020. So that's probably the lowest that I would see this going. This, I had to click back to the daily chart. So that's the daily. So we have this high consolidation area, and this lasted for several months. So if this does come back down, we could see this again. This is the daily. We could see this area again. Now, if it goes below that, that's the end of it. But for right now, now see, this is like a relative low, like around this area. So if it doesn't bounce in like the 160s, high 160s area, we could see a bounce there, or we can come down here and have some consolidation again. But for right now, this doesn't look good chart wise. You can see that if you go to the 5 minute, what happened today, just completely bearish, nothing. I mean, this looks like kind of like a bear flag right now. This is the 5 minute. There's nothing bullish about this right now.
Yeah, I don't see anything that would draw me to it. If I was scanning charts, I'd fly right by that one.
Yeah, I don't see, I mean, and this was just what you said. I mean, we had good revenue, but not so good earnings here. So if you hop on over to TradingView, if anyone has that, you can get into the financials, or you can do what John was doing and see it there. But they do have this information here, and we have another upcoming earnings event in October. So until then, I'm not loving this chart, just being honest.
Yep, she doesn't look like she has a lot. If you're invested in it, take advantage of the dips. See if you can average down on the floors. She has pointed out a nice one that we're at right now. Yeah. Hopefully, it kind of looks like an M there. I'm hoping that's not a big old M, because that would mean we got a lot more falling coming. M for murder, W. All right. Did you have anything potentially nice to say about this, or should we move on to the next one?
No, I just think, we could see a bounce in like the low 170s, like 169, 170. Wow. If we don't see a bounce there, then we could consolidate here again in this area between 140 and 160. Okay. That's what I'm seeing personally.
All right. Let's jump on into that next one we got. Oh, I could avoid the TikTok back and forth. This is LLAP. Can't remember who brought this one to me. Maybe they're up there on the comment board. I looked at this one myself. I think it was just last week. Maybe they had news just last week. This is LLAP, Terran Orbital Corporation. They finished today at $1.36, fell just a little over 3%. It's a penny stock on the New York Stock Exchange. Now, the news I see here, when did this come out? I don't even see a date here. I'll back up and get that date here in a second. But Terran Orbital customer Rivada meets rigorous review for international telecommunications waiver. This was good. Basically, this company, Terran Orbital, is a customer of Rivada. Rivada puts satellites out in space. I don't know what kind. I didn't get deep into it. But there was a waiver here, a requirement for Rivada to put the first 10% of its planned satellite constellations into orbit by September 2023. Well, I guess there was a problem meeting that. So they waived it. Thank goodness. Well, they say here for this company, the waiver is also a significant milestone for Terran Orbital, allowing it to continue the development and manufacture of its first tranche of satellites for Rivada. Under a contract, the two companies signed in February. The $2.4 billion contract calls for Terran Orbital to design and build 300 satellites, each weighing approximately 500 kilograms, that's over 1,000 pounds, with Rivada holding an option for a second tranche of another 300 satellites. That sounds like good business to me. That sounds like big money to me. That sounds like where we're going. These, I do believe, are low orbiting satellites. These are ones that don't go as high as the ones we put up there now, so that information can go to the satellites and back to us without us having to wait for it to travel. No latency. That's the whole deal about this. So they've got a $2.4 billion contract that basically got saved by this waiver. This company's continuing through building 300 satellites and 300 more behind it, which they have the potential for. I think that was the only thing I had found. Let's get some basic information then.
Hey, John, I had a question about that one. What happened around February 22nd of this year with that company?
February 22nd. Let me see if the news will go back that far. Sometimes the news doesn't. Wow, that's a lot of news for June. Now this is, well, it sure looks like all their news. Wow. Okay. It stopped here in May, but I can check the disclosures. What was that? April,
February 22nd.
February.
Wednesday, February 22nd of this year. There was a big jump. A lot of volume came in.
Wow, look at all those. All right, February 28th, February 22nd. There's an 8K. That's normally a bullet in the gun. Entry into a material definitive agreement. Kayak Nano Satellite Systems, a subsidiary of Terran Orbital, entered into a procurement contract with Rivada. This is when they got the contract we're reading about. This was the day they got that 300 satellite, $2.4 billion contract. So hopefully it jumped that day and didn't fall. Anybody there?
I'm right here.
Let's see.
The next day, it must have been, pre-market the next day. That might have come out later. It had a big spike in volume, huge jump. So that's why I was asking.
Well, there was a lot of shares and warrants going on the market. That was the very next day. So they could flood the market. Looks like we had a bunch of sales, some huge sales coming from the insiders.
Okay.
Don't know what that was about, but those are pretty big. That's 1 million shares right there. Somebody bailed out on. So just after that good news, and unless it was on a high and he was catching himself a good dandy profit and got the heck out with it, I'm not real sure. All right, so that relative volume, but you saw how I could just kick those filings down. Don't think that's all there is. Just keep hitting that more button. I have not found an end to most of the filings. If they've got them, it'll just keep feeding them to you. We lost about more than 50% of our volume today on the company, 2.7. And the one thing I was looking at that I wanted to see, Rigas International Deploy Constellation, there's the waiver news. That came out a month ago. So we haven't had anything here current. That was a month ago, the news that we were looking at. Share structure for the company, it's going to be under 145 million for our float, because that's what the outstanding share count is. So this company making money, they did more than 100% increase between 2021 and 2022, jumping from 40 million to 94 million. But in saying that, they were making money with the 40 million year. They lost 17 million at the end of 2022. It's not all about the revenues. You got to look at those expenses. Quarterly, well, they're making steady revenues there, and it looks like they're tweaking that formula. They're going to have to work on it. They had 37,000 here. That was their best quarter. Woo! Out of 27 million, they got to keep $37,000. Bet that didn't pay one employee. And they've been cutting it down 10.7 million down to 1.3 million. Quick look at that balance sheet since they are having problems. Well, look at all that bloody money they got in the bank. $93 million. That's half of their assets, 182, but they got a lot of liabilities, a lot of debt, 274 million. All right, what else have we got here? We did check out those disclosures, didn't we? Well, there's a bunch of Form 4s here, and I don't know if I actually looked at all of these. Oh, right. All of these have to do with a deal. Everybody was issued a bunch of restricted shares. These aren't even common shares. They're all restricted. You can see they all happened yesterday, bunches of them. Every insider was rewarded restricted shares for whatever reason. Doesn't make any difference to our stock, though. Did I cover everything here? Bouncing around like that? I think I did. So let's jump on into the chart and let's see what that looks like for an order.
So this is what I was going to show you. This was February 22nd. This is the daily chart. So we had a relative high of like 346 or so. And then I like to go back and just see how long this company's been around. So it's only been around about 2 years. So this is like April, May 2021. So a little over 2 years. Looking at these earnings reports, I mean, if they're good or bad, there's really no movement really, I mean, around these. This was, I mean, good here. But really, not more volume, not really a lot of movement around that. So whatever catalyst this was, what really moved it. Other than that, it's just kind of, I'll go to the 4-hour here. I mean, the relative low is going to be like from the end of May, about 111. Right now we're at 136. It's really not really doing much. You can see this right here. It's just kind of, it's kind of looking bearish. We might have a little bounce right here around this area, like right there.
Yeah, I'm
around 132. But if it doesn't, then we're probably just going to see this bounce off of here. But we do have another earnings report, even though it's coming up in August. So this month here in a couple weeks, we're going to have another earnings report. But it doesn't really move with earnings. It seems to really jump on whatever news you were reading, like warrants and stuff like that. So we'll just go down to the 5-minute or so. Like we had a little sporadic volume. Not a whole lot though. I mean, we're just kind of like, I mean, if you were able to like, get in here and get out here, that's like a little bit of a gain. I don't know. I probably wouldn't be day trading this. I don't see anything that's jumping out at me that, oh, I want to get in this, unless it does bounce off of that like 111 area. I might want to see it test this area and see if it bounces up there. Off of there. Otherwise, maybe here, 130. I mean, we're coming down to that area where it's going to need to bounce soon, or it's just going to come plummeting all the way down.
It doesn't look like it has any signs of retreating right now. We do need another piece of news. That was July 11th. So, we're almost a month away from that. And right now, that's what the market is feeding on. Catalyst. If you don't have something, we're going somewhere who does.
Yeah, we need a catalyst here because otherwise it's just going to be floating around this area. There's nothing that's telling me, okay, we're going to come back up to these 170, 180 area.
I agree.
Don't really see that right now.
If you're invested, again, watch for them bottoms. You don't know if it's a bottom until it bounces, which means you got to see a few green bars come up off of it. Read your SMA, see if they are working with the price, not against the price. As you can see here, the SMAs are against the price rising right now.
Absolutely. We need to see some confirmation to be able to get in this. Otherwise, just make sure you're on top of the news with this one.
All right, we are going to look at NITS Fairholds. I just call them NITS because I keep pronouncing that wrong. We are going to look at CISO. I had a hard time typing this. I kept putting in Cisco, no matter how many times I typed it. All right, what do we got here? We've got some news. Looking back to May, they created a new company, Cisco. This was to hold their intellectual property. Intellectual property is valuable. I don't know why you need a whole subsidiary to do it, but they did that. They had a $4 million registered direct offering. Direct offerings. I'm not sure if that went to the public or not. Normally, direct offerings go to bigger investors, people who are qualified. Then we've got a piece of news here in May that the company and ransomware pioneer Halcyon joined forces. Again, I haven't dove into any of this. I don't know if it's a partnership or a joint venture or what they've got going on. However, up here recently, on the 19th of July, they did a deal. They acquired veteran-owned SB Cyber Technologies. Let me see. Cisco Global is an industry leader as a managed cybersecurity and compliance provider. They announced they have acquired SB Cyber Technology, also a cybersecurity company that specializes in identifying, enhancing, and applying emerging government and military-grade capabilities to critical commercial technological security challenges. SC Cyber has become a wholly owned subsidiary of Cisco now. This new company developed Checklight. They did this 4 years ago, and it is an excellent resource. It is a powerful, proactive endpoint detection response technology that detects potential threats to endpoints such as laptops and desktops on a continuous basis. And where did I read that? It looks like it disappeared. There. I am almost sure there. I knew I had it highlighted. Checklist has 0 instances of sophisticated malware getting through undetected. A perfect record, folks. So they've got a very hot product, and this company just got a hold of that one. Checklight uses the same cybersecurity software engine used by several federal agencies. It identifies unauthorized processes associated with fraudulent phishing attacks, hacking, imposters, scams, malware, ransomware, and viruses. So that was the big news around the company. What was their relative volume? Whoa, lost about 60% of it, dropping from 1.1 million down to 362,000. Share structure. All right, we got about 177 million outstanding. If the numbers are correct, the insiders got 111 million, which leaves us about 65 million. Not a low float, but it's a decent float. There's nothing wrong with that. Financials for CISO. Oh, they're doing excellent. Look at those financials, jumping hard from 2 million to 7 to 15 to 46. We're not just talking growing, we're talking leaping here. And the great thing is that she's making money doing it. She's not losing money. She's not getting to keep very much. And you would think a cybersecurity business would be all digital. I've got a program. It's something you plug in. You don't have to make it. You don't have to package it or mail it. So why they are spending so much to do this, I don't know. I would need to jump into their financials, like their balance sheet, for example, and see where they're spending all that money. They've only got 1.8 million in the bank, 104 million in assets, and only 28 million in liabilities. But again, this is just a general accounting. You can get all the information in their 10Ks and their 10Qs. She finished the day at almost 20 cents, dropped about 4.5%. She is on the NASDAQ. Disclosures, we got a couple 8Ks here. I like 8Ks. Doesn't mean it's always good news, but that's where most of it sits. This is changing some of the officers in the company. Let's see if we got another one here. This is over a month ago. Press release. This was them getting a hold of SB Cyber Technologies. So that really is all the information we got here right now. The company is making money. She is above board. She's got not a lot of money in the bank, but she's got a lot of assets. So she's looking good. I just don't see anything pushing her right now. Let us take a look at that chart and see if we can find any push there.
Nope, not really. So this is the daily chart. Couple things here. Now this one does move on their earnings announcements. All right. So we had one here in March. So it gapped up. Oh, sorry, gapped up and then came right back down. So then immediately filled that gap. So this one did move. Now, if you were able to catch this,
is that about 100? Is that about 100% jump from 20 cents to 40?
No, all the way up to, I mean, it reached a high that day of 56, give or take. But it came all the way back down to 39. It closed that day. So this is open, close. But it jumped from here. If you got in at the end of the day here, 20 something until 50.
That's what we're looking for.
So that's more than 100%. Yes, that's more than that. But you would have to have gotten out because this thing will come right back down. Now we're in this consolidation area. So, and we're also getting ready to have another earnings pretty soon, the end of this month. So it does move on earnings. So we have a low here of about 17 cents, give or take. So if you're able to get in here at this level when it's consolidating and then get out around 20, 22 cents, I mean, that's like a 20-25% move there from 17.
I'm liking the setup there. She's broke out over the 50. She's bounced on it and she's sitting on top of it. And you say she's got a catalyst coming.
There is a catalyst coming at the end of this month.
It is looking tempting. I mean, the chart as a whole looks like poop, but where she's sitting right now, she's not in a bad place. Look at that 50-day SMA, just about ready to cross the 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, the yellow over the purple would be a golden cross, wouldn't it?
It would be, yeah. So right now it's just kind of sitting here. These are all mixed up. This one needs to be up here, but see, this is the 200 here. We're seeing that flattening out. It could move. It will move on this next earnings because it looks like every time that we have an earnings, it does move a huge amount, but it moves pretty fast. Like within the day, it might go all the way up, 100% or more, and then come right back down. So if you're day trading this, you're going to have to be able to get in and get out pretty quick. So right now we're kind of just in this area. I mean, I'd like to see this come up over here, obviously, but it needs to hold in order to do that. But we do have this catalyst, so that is going to be probably its saving grace. Hopefully it'll be able to, come back down here. I'd like to see it test this again and then come back up. Right now it's below everything, but let's see what happened today.
When do those financials come out, Taylor?
When do they?
Yeah, do they have a date there?
August 30th.
August 30th. Okay.
So the end of this month. Yeah.
So we've got a window of opportunity there, and we've already identified she does bounce on her earnings.
Yeah.
And she's at a low. She's been accumulating, consolidating, which is normally where you get your change of, it accumulates for so long and then it does something. Then it pops. So this could be one to watch. This may be one to put on your watch list.
Right here.
There you go.
August 30th.
She's not perfect, but she's in the zone. Her price is near the 200. The 50's coming up underneath it to give it some extra jump. So I would at least keep my eye on it, and she's not at a bad price.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So, but relative to what it has been in the past, it's very, very, very low. I mean, this has been in the $3 range before. So this is wild to me.
So we have just a little bit of hope there, which is really all you need, because as you see, when you have these big down drawn out falls, there is a floor. Somewhere there is a floor. And if you can find those floors, things start to really grow fast. They start to pick up. And that
if this is that floor like you're talking about, then we could come back up if this is the floor. Hopefully it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to jump on into the next one here. I know which one it is. I just don't know. There it is. I don't think I skipped anybody. Oh, I did. Where's NVVE? We didn't look at that one. All right. Well, I do have Sith here, and there's NVVE. I did not miss you. It just got kind of leapfrogged there. So we'll get to that next. We are going to check out Sith. This is Cyclotherapeutics on the NASDAQ, $1.88. Hey, they had a good day. Over 26% gains today. They tell us here that the company is a clinical stage biotechnology company working on Alzheimer's disease drugs and Pick disease, whatever that is, Niemann-Pick disease. So let's see what we've got. I found some information. First thing I noticed, we had a huge investment. A company, and I do believe there's a news press that goes behind this. Yeah, right there. Cyclotherapeutics announces closing a $5 million private placement with Raphael Holdings. Raphael is a company on the market, ticker RFL. And this is their news press, though it's over here at Seth. But this is their news press because they did a deal with the company. They originally bought $2.1 million worth of the company's common stock, not preferred or private, our stock, the stuff we buy. And now they've come back and they've upped it to $5 million. And they've done this with the drug. I think they are coming out of phase 2 trial. Cyclotherapeutics announces publication of positive data from phase 2 clinical study of Trapisol, Cyclo, for the treatment of Niemann-Pick disease as well as Alzheimer's disease. And they tell us down here that that drug has been given allowance of patent from European Patent Office. So it's making headway. And now all of a sudden you have a company on the market invested in this company purely for the investment's sake. They believe they can make money on this. So they've looked at enough information that they're convinced. I find that exciting. Let's see if I had anything else here. Boom, boom, boom. No. So let's just take a look at the regular information. Well, there was a jump in volume. It's not big numbers, but that is something like what? 800 times or normal volume. So forget these numbers. Just see we have 800 times more interest in the stock right now. Share structure. That's good too. We've got a low float. It's not legitimate low. 10 million and under is legitimate. But come on, anything under 20 million is excellent. And this is at 15.1 outstanding. It's looking good. Financials for the company. They're making money. They're in the black. So there's no problems here. They're just not making a lot of it. They're making like $1.3 million a year. Quarterly, well, same thing. They're just steady trudging. So they're not looking bad. Balance sheet, this can tell you a few things you can't see with revenues. They've got 1.5 million in the bank, 4.2 million in total assets, and their liabilities are just under that at 3.4. So they got their head above water. Not anything great happening, but they don't look in danger anywhere. Let me see. How about disclosures? I think we pretty much looked. This 4, is that the big one? Yeah, that's the 4 million shares. You can't miss that one. 8K, this is probably the same news meeting. This is a shareholder meeting. They voted on it. Should we allow them to buy our 4 million shares? Yeah. There was also warrants here too, which shouldn't be overlooked. Warrants are going to create more shares down the road. They got just as many, 4 million. So really what they got was 8 million shares. They got 4 million shares, 4 million warrants somewhere down the road, 2, 3, 5 years down the road. Those warrants will be cashed in with a little more money. The company will make more money, and then a new share will be born. So we're actually looking at about 8 million shares or 4 million more shares that will come on the market. So we'll be at still under 20 million. We're not going to complain about that. And I do believe that covers everything except the chart. So let's get, I wasn't showing my screen all that time. I am so sorry, folks.
My bad. I should have said something.
I thought my screen was up. Oh my God, I feel stupid now, folks. I am so sorry. Shoot, I don't even know if I need to. How embarrassing. Okay, let's see here. God, folks, you put up with that? You guys should have been beating on your screens. I am so sorry. Let's see. All right, as I said, the company did have a big investment of 4 million. You can see that on the Form 4s, folks. Whenever you come over to their disclosures, it's right there. Form 4s. They're not always going to be buys. They could be sells, but right here, if you see green A, in case you're colorblind, and a price, you know that they have bought or sold. If you don't see a price here, they got them for some other reason, and we're not real concerned about that. And the other news, as I said, was Raphael. They did invest into this company. They are another company. I don't know anything about them. I don't know if they're into medications, pharmaceuticals, or what it is they do. They could just be a holdings company. They could just be making investments. I have no clue whatsoever. It says here that as of the third quarter of 2023, they had cash equivalents of $82 million. They had a net loss of $1.5 million. So like everybody else, they're hanging on. Everybody's just hanging on right now. They've all got a little bit of money, but they're all just struggling to keep those revenues coming in. All right, we'll have to deal with that. And I'm going to jump over to that chart now.
Okay. So I'm on the 4 hour. We did have a nice day today. So I would say, let's see,
That looks
from
great.
around 152 to 187. So, but this floor here around 137, it's not really a floor, but it's kind of touched here a few times. I mean, that's like a, what, 25% move or so, 130, well, 120 something percent, 137 to 187. I mean, it looks really good. We've got these EMAs crossing. This one's about to cross right now. It's just about to touch right here. But we've had, here's one, several touches. Hi. So yeah, I mean, this looks really good right now. I do see it probably pulling back once it gets, up to this 2 something level. But if it does, I mean, that's another, what, 20% or so?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good jump. I
would
usually
actually expect it. I would expect it to probably climb to that point and then drop back. That would be my sell point.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it closed here at 177, and after hours we're still at 187. So I mean, you can see that right here. So that's actually pretty good. Kind of bottomed out here around this under $1. Well, I don't know if anyone would pick that up. But overall, like, just like we did have a split now, a 100. That's probably reverse split here. This was in 2020, the end of 2020. So all these numbers are going to be a little messed up when you look up here. It's going to look like it was cost a lot. It never reached this much. It wasn't $12.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
If folks don't know what we're talking about, this has been happening after a reverse split. You see a big green bar for where it jumped from 20 cents to $4 on a 1 and 20 reverse split. Well, after 10 days or so, they adjust the charts. They make that green bar look like a down. It looks like it fell real hard. And then all the rest of the prices are kicked up by whatever the ratio was. Genius. I sold my stock at $4.06. They did a reverse split. Go back and look at the charts. It says the high for the day was $46. No, I did not sell my stock at $4 when the price was 46. So we're getting wrong numbers. The chart is right. Well, I don't even know. Would you call the chart right now, Taylor, when they
what it does is it adjusts to what it would have been if the split was always there. Okay.
Yeah, but that's like saying I would have been 6 foot if I kept my shoes on. I've got them off. It doesn't matter. That's not my real height. When they ask me how tall are you, they don't mean with my shoes on. You got to give them the truth, and that's what angers me now. When people look at the charts, how are they ever going to know the stock was never $117? It was $17 high. The chart says 117. That is false information. And the one thing we don't need in the markets is fake news. By golly, we don't need fake information. And that's what it is now. When you adjust the chart for one day, you've changed the entire chart, all those years for one day. What sense does that make? I don't like it. I don't get it. And I think we should write to somebody about it. I do.
So I guess they have to adjust it as like it would have been this because this is the real stock price now. If it would have just adjusted to where it was, it would be 100th of this. So it's a reverse split. I get where they're going. They want to see it relative to what it would be today, but it's not the right price.
Relative isn't important,
Yeah, I know.
It's relative. We want the facts, and everything on our chart should be hard facts. This is what history is. If we go back and rewrite history, then it ain't history anymore. It's fairy tale.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind when you're looking at these charts, especially pre-split. It's going to look like it was this stock was not $100. It wasn't. It
wasn't.
No. Anyway, so this is what happened today. Yeah, this is the 15-minute. This is what happened today. Obviously these EMAs look amazing. Perfect. 9, 21, 50, 200. Perfect. Really good day. Lots of volume. Went up. So I'm not sure. I do like this. I mean, it really got a big pump today. I mean, the last time it did this happened for several days. See that? So this could absolutely continue up until about this area. I would watch out and get out because see all these wicks at the top. This is saying it went up to there and then came back down here, closed here, went up to here, closed here, went up to here, closed. So see, it's still wicking right now, even though it closed here. So I suspect several more days of this. What do you think?
I'm thinking too. I mean, anything can happen. Nobody can promise anything or guarantee anything, but the chart says the road's clear. You got green lights, the lanes are open. Move. I do like it. Definitely. And this may be a stock that you don't want to watch. I mean, she's in motion right now. That's what's going on. She's in motion. She takes a break. You may want to, and it looks like she's holding on right now. That was a big bar the first half of the day. She slowed down a little bit. And is that yeah,
here's the 15-minute, 5-minute. I can go to 5. Here's 5. What happened today?
Look at all those golden crosses we had today.
Oh yeah. There's one, there's one, there's one, there's
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
So there we go. Nice day today on this. For sure.
All right. For some reason, I don't know why, but I got a couple of you guys in the wrong order, but I have them here. So we're going to look at what was that first one I needed? NBVE. Yeah, let's go to NBVE first. And then I got Z-Mark. No, I did not forget you. Things got really confused here. Can you see me, guys?
Yep.
All righty. So this is NBVE, Nuvei Holdings. Finished today at 67 cents. Another one that took a drop, 5.5%. On the NASDAQ, when you see a stock under $1 on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ or even the American Exchange for that matter, you've got to take concern. They can't be under $1 for too long. It's called a minimum bid price requirement. If they're under $1 for too long, they get a warning. They have to get their price up over $1 for 10 consecutive days. If they don't, they go down to the OTC. Now, it's not up to the management. I mean, they can do things, a reverse split. That's one way to fix the problem, and that's why we've been having so many of them here recently. And normally you can find that in an 8K. Sometimes they'll give you a news press if they're straight with their investors, but a lot of companies just like to find it in the filings. So what did we find here about this company? This is a charging company. This is what they do. They build chargers for electric cars. They give a nice description of themselves and never really say that. So I thought a picture was worth everything else. We've got lots of investors. That's the one thing I remember about here. All these Form 4s, every single one of them are people buying into the company. This is Pelasini Gregory. That is the Chief Executive Officer, CEO. He just bought himself 539,000 shares, over 500,000 shares at 61 cents. And every single one of those are exactly that. Not all of them are that big. That one's for 5.8 thousand. This one is the president and COO. He didn't buy very many, but look how many he's got over here, folks. He has got 700. No, I'm wrong. I thought that was a million. That's a point right there. So everybody is buying. That's the point. When insiders start buying, they buy at the right time. Either the price is really low and they're taking advantage of it, or something they know is going to happen. Maybe we already know it. Maybe we don't. Insiders know a lot that we don't know. That's why people follow insider buys. They've got pages just for that. You can see what companies are making big buys. They even show you charts of when this person bought before and what did the market do after they bought. Did it run after they bought? Did it run the time before they bought? When you find management that buys just before it runs, these are companies you want to follow. Every time management buys, jump on their shirt tail. Why not? Anything else I had here? Oh, more buys. There's one for 449 million. I knew that they were exciting. So you've got millions of shares that have just been bought by the insiders. Some of their news, 7-Eleven, the company's artificial intelligence is the give software platform integration to their FleetBox charge management app. Everybody is incorporating AI now. And the company's largest DC fast charger order to power New England school buses just came in. They are getting 25 of these rapid charging stations for school buses at a school. And that's what it is. Customer after customer, whether you're selling robots or chargers, you have individual customers. And when you can pick up one and they do well, the other schools start to do it. Next thing you know, you're the number one company out there. So what sort of relative volume? Jeez, they fell to about 30%. going from 1.4 million down to roughly a million. Share structure, well, that's good news. It's under 27 million, the float, so that's not a bad thing at all. Are they making money with their chargers? They are. They're in the black. They're making profits, but the profits are falling. The revenues have gone up, but the profits have gone down. I know inflation is hitting everybody, and I know energy has gone up as well. So maybe that's got something to do with it. Looking at their quarterly, well, they've actually increased. They've jumped up to 1.8, which is same as they were doing about a year ago. But the revenues aren't bad. The gross profits. Let's check out their balance sheet. See how they're doing on the annual. 16 million in the bank, 41 million in assets, only 10 million in liabilities. So they're not bad. They don't have any real financial problems right now that we can see. And we've gone through all of their financials. So basically, you've got a company here that's on the cusp of probably exploding. All these charging companies have got the whole world as their market. Now, there's lots of companies doing it. So it's going to come right down to their sales team. These people have got to get out there and start doing their job. Really, that's what this is all about. They've got to get individual customers, sell their product before another salesman gets there. So we need to keep an eye on how many deals they're making, how fast they're doing this, because it is a wide open market. You can approach any mall, any supermarket, any school. Everybody can put these in front of their places. Anybody can. So the company is there early. We're going to all be there sooner or later. And I think it's going to look ugly with these darn pumps everywhere. Pumps everywhere. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think we're going to be sorry we did this down the road. It's going to be worse than telephone poles. But it is an exploding market. And they are making money. And you just had a big investment. All those management people buying. There's a reason. Maybe do some shuffling around on Google. See if there's anything else being said about the company. You may get something there. So let's take a look at, we did take a look at the relative volume. We did. Let's take a look at that chart for NVVE. I'm kind of interested to see what she's doing.
So Oops. I'm looking at just the big picture here. This is the daily chart from way back when. So it's been around for about 3 years. You know, we pumped up here to the $20 area, and that's the real $20 area because I don't see any splits or anything, but we come down to where we are today. Yeah. We're kind of hanging out in this area. We kind of dip down here into this. It looks like it kind of bottomed out, and we're trying to start back up again.
Oh, I like that. This is what I was explaining to Taylor what we do on our videos. We're always looking for the atypical breakout chart. That's it. That's it right there. So to me, I feel like I just found gold. Sure, I got to go get it tested, but that looks really sweet. You've got that one green bar before the breakout, and she's starting to break out.
Yep.
I'm drooling here. I love this.
It is starting to break out, and that's kind of what happened back here, but without as much volume. It did have a little volume, and then, you know, we had a big run. I mean, big, I mean, really seriously big, 45 cents all the way up to 260 something. So, I mean, that's incredible.
500%.
Yeah. So that's amazing. I mean, it looks like it's starting to break out. We're kind of like, right here is a really good point here. Let's see. Whoops. So we hit this 200 right here, and we're kind of trying to wick up above it here. It happened 2 days in a row now. So I think if we can get above that, that would be amazing, and we could go for a nice run here.
Yeah, that first one you circled is what I call the directional intentional spike. I purposely look for one spike to pierce it while the 200 is still sloped. Think of it as an icy slope. If it tries to get up there, it's just going to slide downhill. But it needs to crack the ice before it gets there. And then when it gets flat, you normally see a breakout. And that is looking perfect to me.
It's really trying. Look at all these wicks. It's wicked up to almost 90 cents several times. And we had another wick here. Yeah. So, I mean, this looks really good. Even on, this is the 4 hour here. We kind of like had a double bottom almost, and coming up here. I mean, it looks like it's really trying. There's been a lot of volume over the past like month or so. I do like this chart the best. I mean, this has been just complete downhill, and it's starting to kind of flatten out just a little bit. I think we're gonna try to get over this. If it can keep up this volume that it's had, my gosh,
Yep, I
we
agree.
could definitely come up here.
This is one that has to be on your watch list. Just
Yeah,
watch it. And the big thing is that these do not need a big catalyst to break out. They don't need a ton of volume to break out. You just need to have interest. And when you have it set up like that, there's a lot of people who are watching for breakouts. What I do isn't special. A lot of people are looking at these. So this is going to be on a lot of people's watch list tomorrow. I'd be watching that. I will
for
be
sure.
watching this tomorrow.
Yeah, when you zoom way out and just look at the big picture about what's going on, I mean, it's come way down and it looks like it's bottomed out and trying. So, I mean, it might look like when you zoom in, like, oh, the big run already happened, like it bounced a lot, but look at what it did, what it was. So it has bottomed out and it could really make a big move as
Yeah,
we've seen it happen not
from
too
what
long
I
ago,
saw,
earlier this year.
you
So,
were showing us how high it was at $20. It
yeah.
looked like it was at that locked $10 price just before it hit 20, which would tell me it was a SPAC. This company
Okay.
they came onto the market as a SPAC. It was $10. There was a lot of excitement initially, $20, and now this $10 to $20 stock is way the heck down here. I think, and she is set up. It's taken that long for the 200 to catch up. It is just now, after all this time, finally gotten close enough for the price to break out. Wouldn't you want to break out if you were locked up for that long? I'm going to be watching this tomorrow, folks.
Yep.
All right, what do we got here? About 10 minutes left. My God, I don't even think I got to all the stocks on my list. We got another one here, Z-Mark. This was actually the first ticker that was given to me. Unbelievable. Z-Mark, Zalemark Holdings finished today. This is the cheapest stock we saw today, 0016. You're probably going to have to put your Heikenashis on for this one, Taylor. She had a nice day, about 23% gains on the pink tier current, and she's got those two green ticks we're always talking about. This is validated information. You don't get validated information with pinks. Even your financials are just disclosures. So whenever you can get these green ticks, you're ahead of the game. So what does this company do? Zalemark Holdings, currently trading on the market, blah, blah, blah. And its subsidiaries are focused on investing in targeted profitable industries, including custom real estate, development projects, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is the one I could not find any information on. Looking at the news, this is all old news. There's nothing new. Coming over here to the disclosures, which is where I get the other half of the coin, I've only got my financials, which is where I'm going to have to get my news. So I jumped into one of the financials. Just, we don't have anything here. So what I've got here, we'll start off with the quick finances. Assets, $3.7 million this year, $3.7 million last year. Very little change. Liabilities, 3.7, 3.7. Very little change. Actually, none. No change whatsoever in a year. Revenues, zilch. They are a shell company, though it doesn't say that over here. If they're not a shell company, that means they're in business. Well, they're not making any money, right? So that should be shell risk. Why isn't it over here? I have no clue. What other information could I glean from this? Let me see. I do have some there. I knew it was highlighted. All right. A while ago, this company made some deals, and these companies are part of them. In December, well, they actually did one in 2009, but that's how they became who they are, Zalemark. Then in 2019, they completed a reverse merger with Ariel Pond Leaf Canada and Digital Utilities Ventures. I don't know anything about these, but they are their subsidiaries. What are they doing right now? They've had them for a while. Zalemark Holdings has redefined itself numerous times to meet the needs of the community and shareholders. Subsequent to the 2019 merger, the new management team has been operating in the growing, producing, marketing, and selling of agricultural products. To who? Where? For how much? Where's the money? So I see talk over here. I get an idea that they're working with agricultural products. They got a couple subsidiaries, but I really don't have any information on this company. I would have to do a deeper dive, which just means going over to Google and maybe to the SEC, but I don't know. There's just not a lot of information about the company, but we see nothing is happening. The relative volume, come on now. All right. No, no, no. You see that volume? We have jumped from under a million to 22 million, and I can't find a reason. All right, let's see. There has to be a reason. So, very quickly here, I'm going to just jump over to Google. I don't like Bing. I don't think Bing does a good job. I can do better up here. Google. All right, let's see what we can find here, folks. Real quick, we're going to do a search. We're going to jump on over to the news. We are going to turn on our time, sort this by date. There is no news since 2019. Looking at all. Let's see if we have anything over here. I will bring up my time to the last week. 6 days ago. This is just chart information. This isn't news. Due to numbers climb. Come on. All right. Last place we have got to check is Twitter. I'm only one man. Twitter's got lots of people. You need to cash in on other people's due diligence. So let's see here. We are looking for, what ticker was that? ZMRK. Oh, not AMRK. That's a country. ZMRK. Normally you got to put a dollar sign in front of it. Let's see what we get. All right, this is top news, August 2nd. ZMark trading due to pending corporate action. However, they did place a trade for me over the phone. Impressive move. I'm not seeing any news here. All right, I'm going to click latest. This will give us stuff that's just been put out, whatever is most current. 20 times the average volume. Yeah, I guess it probably would. Ming, ling, zing, zing, zing. Nope, no news there. Come on. What is really going on here? See, now this bothers me, folks. When you have that much volume, something has to have happened. Something, and I can't find out what. Well, we've got a ton of shares here, but the funny thing is that the management has most of them. We have 1.6 billion shares, and they've got 1.2 billion of them. Sometimes that can be a little scary. That's a lot of bloody shares. We get about 500 million. That's a lot of bloody shares as well. Let's see, financials. Well, we did. They had nothing there. News, that's all old, right? Disclosures. So we've got nothing here to look at. And this is really frustrating me because you don't get that much volume for no cause. Now, they could have had an insider buy today, and that's not going to show up here today. It'll show up in a day or two, but it won't show up today. I have a page I go to for that. It's insider buys, but I'm not going to jump over there. But this is where more due diligence is necessary. And if you can't find anything, it's definitely worth watching. When you have something jump up in the millions now, your volume going from 1.1 million up to 22 million, there has to be a reason. And that reason could be big. It could be very, very important. Could be some deal on the table. All right, let's take a look at ZMark on the charts.
Okay.
Oh, look at all the circles.
Yeah, I was circling that because this is where we kind of hit the 200. Okay, so we got like resistance. This was the end of last year. Resistance, support, resistance, and that we're here again, right here. So, I mean, we did reach a high right after this earnings came out, but nothing really was reported. So I don't know why it came up to here, but if you got in now and got out here, that's almost 100% move. So that's pretty crazy. 200% move from here. This is the low at 001. Now we're at 0015. There was a lot of volume. I don't know why. I don't see any earnings report or anything. I don't really know, but it did move a lot today. If we go down to the 15-minute, you can see we've had a lot of volume, a lot of movement, spikes up to 0.0017. Now we're back down to 0015. Kind of hanging out at the top here. So we'll see if this keeps flagging out and goes back up or comes back down to 001.
I like it. That big red bar you see there that fell after she broke the 200 and she came down right at the very end today. Yeah, that big red bar that breaks through the 200. That to me, I see that, you know, I told you about my directional intentional spike that goes up. It's an indicator. That's what I see it as. That right there, that red bar, I see that as a pillar. You've got a lot of weight up on top of it, and it's picking it back up, coming right up to the same heights. I see that as a pillar holding up that entire structure of gain. It's a way to tell me I want to build higher. So it's got to come through. It has to come through and back up to its same strength area. That's what tells me these are indicators. So that looks really, really good. Yes, right there. Oh, that looks good.
Up to this top. Yep. And then it broke through it.
The only thing that don't look good is a lower high. I don't like that.
So that's what's happening today. I mean, the candles look weird because it is Heikinashi and not like a lot of volume back here. It's just kind of like barcoding here, but we did see some good movement today. I mean, quite a bit from a low of like 0011 to 0017. That's a big move. It came back down and then the buyers picked it right back up. So,
oh boy, yeah.
That's what happened today.
Yeah, and that's what I would have seen that as too. Watching that come down, and as soon as it just came back up, I would have bought in right there. But I didn't know about this one, Z-Mark. But you know what? I still got to find out why she's running. That was some tremendous volume today out of the blue. I mean, the days before have had volume, but nothing like that. Well, folks, looks like we hit our target. 501. Ding, 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 ding. Boy, we got a lot of comments over here. Look at all you folks that came in. Bashar, Human Bicycles. I still like that name. Belmore finally got here. I was worried, Belmore. I don't think I've had a show that you have not been in. Travis Trisco, great to see you here. I remember Travis. Howard Cole. We did talk about LLAP, Howard. It's at the beginning of this, so as soon as we're done, give it time and you can watch that. Who else we got here? Thebes One, thank you for stopping in, buddy. Samuel Montero. God, look at all of these comments. I have not even had time to read most of these folks because you know what I've been doing, but I am going to go through this. Jerome Harris, thank you very much. What you got there? I asked a question and it's gone. I asked for TTOO and it disappeared. Not sure what happened. That's what I was telling Taylor today. I saw some comments disappear off of YouTube. I don't know where they went. TTOO, boy, she's tearing it up, wasn't she? I sold that last week to make a move into another stock, which isn't doing so well. So I was very aggravated today to see TTOO running the way she was. And to be honest, I was more aggravated than curious, so I didn't do any research. I don't know why she was running, buddy. All right, folks. Me and Taylor are going to go through all your comments here, see what you've got on your minds. We appreciate you showing up. I do apologize for my blunder there. I normally have a second one over here open so I can see that. That's the problem with StreamYard. As soon as I share my screen, I can't see what's happening. But we'll make sure that don't happen again. We'll see you next week. Taylor, thank you for being here. I hope someday you actually get to show us your face, or at least give us a picture without glasses on.
Okay.
Yeah, picture without glasses on. That's all we're asking. All right, folks, Thursday, 4 o'clock. I'm here every week. Taylor's here with me now. If she isn't, things happen. We will have somebody here. And if not, the show must go on. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, folks.
Bye.